Good evening and welcome to the Town of Barnstable Waterways Committee meeting for Tuesday, February the 25th, 2025. And before we get going, I have to advise anybody that tonight's meeting is being recorded and broadcast on Channel 18 and in accordance with Mass General Law 30A, Section 20. I must inquire if anybody is taping this meeting, and if so, please make their presence known to the chair. And thank you. I do not see anybody. So present for Town of Barnstable will be Derek Lawson, Brian Taylor, and Jay Horn. And Waterways Committee members are Greg Egan, Todd Wolantis, Gary Schramick, Jacob Angelo, and myself, Paul Everson. So let's act on the first order of business will be the minutes of January 28th, 2025. Has everybody had a chance to review those? And if so, I will entertain a motion to approve them.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Greg,
Yes, in favor.
Todd,
In favor.
Gary,
In favor.
thank you. Jacob? Do we have Jacob?
Yes, I'm in favor. Sorry, I didn't realize.
Okay, thank you. And myself, yes. Okay. Next order of business is executive session.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we move into executive session for agenda item number 3 this evening.
Okay, do I have a second on that?
Excuse me, Kate Connolly, Assistant
Yes,
Town
hi.
Attorney. Could you please read the motion? Will you provide, whoever's going to make the motion, I need you to read it into the record with the language that I provided with respect to if the chair has determined that an open session would be detrimental to the, does somebody have that language?
I have it.
I can, I made the motion. I'm happy to read it thoroughly.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, if you'd like me to do that.
Yes, please.
1, Carl Niehoff, DBA AGL Mooring and Dock versus the Barnstable Waterways Committee / Town of Barnstable. Executive session for the purpose of discussing litigation strategy with respect to the case in the Barnstable County Superior Court, docket number 2572, CV0067, by Carl Niehoff, DBA AGL, P.O. Box 808, Hyannisport, Mass. 02647, appealing in nature of certiorari pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 249, Section 4, from decision to revoke the mooring service license if the chair determines that an open session could be detrimental to the committee's and the town's litigation position. I move that we enter into executive session for this agenda item.
I second it.
And if the chair could say whether he has indeed determined that an open session would be detrimental to the town and the committee's position.
Yes, I have reviewed and I agree that it would be detrimental to the town in that position.
Thank you. And I'm sorry, did you just get a second?
I did.
Yes.
Todd Wolantis.
Okay, now you just can take a roll call vote to go into executive session, and you need to announce whether you're coming back into public session when we're done.
Thank you. Yes, we will be taking a roll call vote, and on completion of the executive session, we will be coming back into our regular Waterways Committee meeting. And voting to go into executive session, Greg Egan,
Yes.
Todd Wolantis,
Yes.
Gary Schramick,
Yes.
Jacob Angelo,
Yes.
and myself, Paul Everson, yes. So we have a unanimous decision to go into executive session.
Okay, at this time, I'm going to create a breakout room and invite you, the committee members and the appropriate folks to move over. I am going to stop recording right now. And when we all rejoin the meeting, I will start recording again.
Okay, thank you. Okay, resuming a regular Town of Barnstable Waterways Committee meeting. Jay, can you blow up that agenda, please, a little bit bigger?
I can't make it bigger on my end, sir. I'm sharing full
Okay.
screen.
All right.
You
hang
might
on.
have to maximize it on your end, your viewer.
Yeah. I'm just see if I can get it back. I'm just missing the top. I want to make sure I'm not cutting something off here. Okay, we next up we have the notices of intent. Number one, Bluefield LLC, 571 Old Post Road in Katuitt. Map 054, parcel 018. Applicant proposes seasonal ramp and float.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a recommendation to defer this to the next meeting, please. I don't have any information on this NOI at this time. And there's some complications with it. I just haven't been able to do the research. So I'm requesting that we just defer this to the next meeting at this point.
Okay. Members all okay with that? I'll go through the list, Greg.
I'm sorry. Yes, I'm fine with that.
Okay, Todd.
Yes, I'm fine.
Okay, Gary,
Yes.
Jacob.
Sounds good.
Okay, and myself, yes. Okay, so we'll refer that to our next meeting. Next up, we have 309 Bay Lane in Centerville, map 186, parcel 14, proposes invasive plant removal and native plant restoration to multiple areas of the property, along with the construction of a reinforced high marsh system and placement of a salt marsh pillow in order to stabilize and revegetate the base of the coastal bank. Jay, what do we have on this one? Anybody representing this?
Don't know if anyone's here to represent it.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is Steve LeBranch from Wilkinson Ecological for the project.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
Okay, so this is what we would be doing is at the base of the hill at the property, there's a scarp. It's an eroded area, and we would be putting in a high marsh system composed of coconut fiber and sediment and plugs, basically to redo the toe of that bank. Everything's outside of mean high water, though.
Okay,
Yeah, this property is located way up in the Bumps River. I don't see any issues with navigation here. I'll leave it up to the committee.
okay, so it doesn't even look like it's out into the water at all?
No, there's actually marsh, some low marsh between what we're going to be doing and that, so it's not in the water at all.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion for approving this one.
I'll make a motion to approve the restoration of 903 Bay Lane, Centerville. As did I do it right?
309, 309 Bay Lane.
Yep.
Okay, a second on that.
Second.
Thanks, Gary. All in favor? So we have Jacob, yes. Gary, yes. Todd?
Yes.
Okay, Greg,
Yes.
and myself, yes. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you, sir.
Bringing the agenda back up now for you, sir.
Thank you. Okay, we do not have any mooring appeals, old business. We have a mooring workshop on March the 18th at 6 o'clock. Any other information on that, Jay?
Yeah, I mean, we discussed this before. We need to look at our licensors regulations. There's some proposals that I have for the committee to change a few of those regulations. We're going to talk about the wait list and the data that I collected. And then I have another issue on, not an issue, but another thing I want to talk to you about in regards to how we permit moorings, just general discussion. So I'm looking forward to that. And again, we're going to do that at 6 o'clock.
Okay. All right, thank you. Next up, we have new business. Nate Van Duzer requests to make mooring BHE 30 a transient mooring in case of customer visitor is in need of a spot for a night. Who owns or who is BHE 30 issued to, Jay?
Yeah, so BHE 30 currently is permitted to Christopher Van Duzer, the owner of Barnstable Marine, along with Nate. Nate is here tonight, is that correct? I saw him log in earlier.
Yeah, good evening, guys.
Yeah. Hey, Nate, I should have asked you this earlier. Are you looking for a commercial mooring or for a transient? And
Yeah, I
can-
think just really a transient. It'd just be nice to offer, something. Obviously we don't ever have any open slips in the height of the season. Just be able. It'd be nice to be able to, put a boat on it if need be, or if we need to slide a customer out there for a night. If obviously the tuna tournament in the fall, it's nice to be able to just offer another spot for somebody to tie up for a night.
Okay. Yeah, there are two different classifications. The commercial mooring is, for a permit holder that you might be working on their mooring, or for a boat that you might be repairing in the yard, whereas a transient is really to bring people into the town, give them a spot to tie up to for the night, and offer that type of service.
Yeah, I think transient's definitely the more of the route we're trying to achieve.
Okay. As far as the committee members go, we already have this permitted out there. We're not cutting in front of anybody on the wait list. Nate, there is some things we have to do afterwards in terms of working with the Army Corps of Engineers, but I can help you through that process. So if the committee were to approve this, we can talk about moving forward after that.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Jay, would you be making or suggest that he participate in the dock walk program that we have for the other moorings, or the other transient moorings we have in the town?
I mean, if they wanted to, get monetary value out of this, dock would be the best bang for their buck. But that's up to them how they want to control it. Once it gets permitted through the Army Corps, they have the right to manage that, the best way they see fit.
Okay, so this is being recommended by the Harbor Master Department.
I would support this as being a transient in Barnstable Harbor. We
Well,
are also, adding one ourselves out there this year. It's already been permitted. We just haven't had the funds to place it. So we finally got the funds in place for that. And we're gonna have 1,000-pound mushroom out there this spring, so we'll be able to have some big boats on that, and we're excited. Looking forward to that.
Okay.
Real
Well,
quick, Mr. Everson, Brian
so-
Taylor, Harbor Master. Just a quick
Yeah.
question. Is this current mooring permitted to an individual?
It's currently permitted to an individual, not to the business yet.
Ooh,
Okay, so
Yeah, Brian, we've been a mooring servicer in Barnstable Harbor for, since this whole program started. So we can change, that to, make it Barnstable Marine mooring. It's just under my father's name now. When him and his sister owned it, Kathleen had one, my dad had one. So, I mean, we can rename stuff, make it, it's just for the business. It's, that's kind of our goal here. I know Millway Marina has one. That's transient. So,
I fully support it being a transient mooring, especially in Barnstable Harbor. I know there's only one right now, and the town does have one that's going to be going in. I'm just not so sure I would support it going from an individual. So I think we might have to revisit this and potentially do a transfer from Nate Van Duzer to the Barnstable Marine Service. I'm just not so sure I would be comfortable with being from an individual transient mooring, because what's to stop other individuals from doing the same thing? So in this circumstance, I would say that potentially we'd have to transfer it from Nate Van Duzer, an individual, to a commercial mooring, be it Barnstable Marine Service, and then from there it would become a transient mooring. But with that being said, there's still a process through the Army Corps of Engineers, and I fully support a transient mooring, especially with the limited number there are.
Brian, can we pivot it since we're here and could Nate ask to transfer this from an individual to a commercial? Now have the Waterways vote on that, or should we do another meeting?
I mean, I think it would be best if we rewrote it and put it as new business next meeting to rewrite it from an individual to a commercial mooring. And I think that, you know, Nate can explain, you know, are you a part owner of Barnstable Marine Service?
Yes.
Yeah, so he can explain his, you know, relationship between there, and we can put it out there publicly that that's what we're doing first. And then from there, it would become a transient mooring, but
Okay,
just this step, I would not be comfortable with at this time.
okay,
Yeah, I agree with you, Harbor Master Taylor, that it would set a precedence if I agree with the idea, and it's great to have another transient there, but once you have individuals declaring their moorings as transient, that just would be problematic or could be problematic down the road. So we will put this on for the next meeting too, and hopefully we get some paperwork change done in the interim. Okay.
I'll give you a call tomorrow, Nate. We'll move forward. We got time before the season comes.
Yeah, it's honestly not urgent. I just know Ian did it at Millway, and you know, I just figured it'd be nice to, you know, have another boat on there if we could, other than our, you know, our little contender. So, all right, thank you guys.
All right, thank you, sir. Next up, we have correspondence. Stan Drake, Pirate Adventures, requests a discussion of correspondence sent regarding dockage at Bismore Park Marina. Harbor Master Taylor, you were engaged with him before in conversation about the possibility of moving his slip. I know the last meeting this was discussed. He expressed concern about the proximity of other big boats around him, and he's in and out. So do we have any further movement on that one?
Good evening, Brian Taylor, Harbor Master for the town. Yeah, so I've been working closely with Dan Drake, I would say over the past 9 months or so, in regards to this matter. Just recently, as of last year, we relocated an existing slip holder to a new slip right next to Dan Drake. You know, Stan has expressed some concerns with the amount of room in between his vessel and the current vessel that's berthed. So moving forward, we've discussed the matter through email quite a few times, I believe, with his legal, and then again through email. I believe it went to our legal department as well, and they commented internally on the matter. But in regards to meeting with Dan, I've met just recently with him. And we are measuring the berth space between our existing slips in close proximity to see if any of the berth areas are larger than where Angler and the Pirate Adventures currently are berthed. And then we are talking about potentially moving them to a different dock, which is a dock. Although I briefly discussed that with Dan Drake, we haven't had too many detailed conversations, but I know he's here tonight and I'm sure he wants to speak to the matter. So at this point, active conversations, willing to work with them, but if I'm unable to come to an agreement, you know, I'm supposed to efficiently utilize the space I have within the marinas, and that's exactly what I believe I'm doing. But I'll let Stan speak to the matter moving forward here.
Okay, thank you. Do we have Mr. Drake?
Mr. Drake, you're muted.
Oh, hello. Hello?
Yes, hi, Mr. Drake. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, yes. Good evening, everyone. Yeah. Well, I think my letters explain my position pretty well, particularly the one from my attorney, Peter Farber, where we documented the space or lack thereof. And Brian has been in communication with me all along the way, working, trying to make it work. Last summer, he asked me to try it a couple of weeks as it is and see how it goes. We tried different things. And I understand he wants to maximize the the space for revenue for the harbor master's department. I don't look at it that way. I look at it purely as a safety matter, and it is not a safe place to operate. As I may have said, if I didn't have a slip, and if Harbor Master Taylor told me that slip was available, I wouldn't accept it. I'm not declining my slip, but I'm saying if I didn't have a slip and that was offered to me, I would not accept it, because my opinion is it's too tight to narrow to operate safely with the crew and passengers that I have. And I'm quite concerned about going into this season in the same situation. Last summer, the angler was assigned that slip in May. However, most of the summer, angler was not present, so we did not have problems. When the angler was in, I scraped angler many times. And we're always hard against the pilings with not enough room to safely handle spring lines, bow line, spring lines mostly, because they run tight. So yeah, if I can't get a better situation real soon, I'm gonna have to go back to my lawyer and see what can come of it. It's just I do not want to start. I don't want to go through the season in a situation like that.
Okay, as you heard the harbor master saying that he hasn't given up on trying to find a better solution for you, and where you have an open line of communication with him. Let's just keep on working to see what can be done as to make a better accommodation. We understand public safety, you have young kids operating the boat, and kids by nature are on that boat, and hands and feet and everything else, particularly coming into the dock. It's a concern for everybody. So I would suggest keep an open line of communication with Harbor Master Taylor, and let's just keep on working to see if there is a better solution that can be had. I think you just heard him say that he's got some more measuring to do. Any other committee member want to comment on this?
I'd like to just say maybe I don't know if it's something we could revisit when both boats are in the water, and I don't know if it's even a committee decision or not, but maybe I have no idea. I hear what he's saying and I understand it completely. I just haven't seen it, you know what I mean? So, we're
Right.
all people of the water, so maybe, our opinion it would be easier to do if you saw what the actual situation looked like.
Right, we can provide an opinion, but we do not make a decision, and the Waterways Committee does not assign slips. That's
All
the,
right, if I may add, to put in perspective, if one were, if the harbor master were to attempt to put in a separation piling between the two boats, there isn't enough room for that. And because there's less than 20 inches, and a piling would take up at least 12 inches of the 20 inches to be divided by the two boats on both sides. We'd have 3 inches on each side, and the analogy is, if there's not enough room to put in a piling, then I think it's understood that there's not enough room for the two boats in that space.
Who has the bigger beam?
The other boat.
Yeah, by how much?
Well, I don't know exactly what the beam of that, by deduction, I think it's over 20 feet. It's between 20 and 21. And my boat is about 15 and a half.
I mean, if it's significantly more of a beam, I guess it wouldn't be fair if it's a two berths evenly divided, a little bit of room, for maybe one's a little bit bigger than the other. But if you're saying there's 5 or 6 feet difference, I would say that seems unfair in your favor.
Yeah, I understand. Boats need to share the open space that exists. It's just, in my opinion, there's not enough open space to share. It's consumed by the extra width of the other boat.
I understand.
Okay,
This is Joe Huckemeyer. We have the other boat. When you're done, I'd like to make a few comments.
okay, why don't you, any other committee members want to make a comment before we hear from Mr. Huckemeyer?
I think it's great that there's open lines of communication, and I certainly wouldn't want to get ahead of the whole thing, whereas Harbor Master Taylor and Mr. Van Duzen are still discussing and working on a solution. I certainly wouldn't want to be premature and come between those two and complicate it when a solution could be shortly in front of us. So I think it's great that there's still open communication, and I'm sure with mutual efforts that they'll come to a solution, and we probably won't even hear about this again.
Yeah, this is Greg. I agree with Todd. Leave this to the discretion of the harbor master.
All right, thank you. Okay, Mr. Huckemeyer, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, so a couple of things. One, we didn't have the boat in there for part of the summer because we had it out working. But when it was there was no problem for us getting a much larger vessel in and out without any contact. We put 20-inch fenders on the side of the boat whenever we are there, so they can come in between the dock and and our vessel. We didn't have any scratches or damage to our boat from being hit. And I got to be honest, the town slips on Ocean Street are probably the easiest slips in the world to get into. They're straight in without any turns. We have boats that we dock. We have to make a 180-degree turn with a pivoting line, and we get in with boats on both sides. I don't see what the problem is for docking. You got a boat. Van's got a boat with 2 outboards. It can't get any easier for bringing a boat in and out. I don't want to go anywhere else because I don't want to be in a slip where the boat next to me is a transient commercial boat with steel doors hanging down and and a single screw, which a lot of them are. And that's going to be the option. If I move, that slip's going to end up being used for transient, and he's going to be in a worse situation because you're going to have boats with doors hanging that don't have the maneuverability. The boat we're using there is a triple screw with jets with docking control, so we can ease in and out of the slip nice and easy. I'm not really sure what the real problem is. First, it was that first we were told that that the captains couldn't dock, and then it was a safety issue. I got to be honest, I just don't see it. I've been running boats my whole life, and I could get a boat in there with one engine, with a bent propeller. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense to me. I don't even understand what the problem is. If there was ever a boat that Than would want to be next to, it would be us. So I mean, I gotta tell you, I just don't get it.
Okay. All right, sir. Thank you. Harbor Master Taylor, you have any final thoughts on this?
Thanks. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to say that I'll continue to work with Dan and Mr. Huckemeyer, and hopefully we can resolve the matter moving forward. But at this point, these slips are currently where they are, and the vessels are currently permanent in their slip contracts in those slips. But I will continue to work forward to resolve the matter between the two parties in the town, and we'll go from there.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
And if I may, a couple of last comments. Mr. Huckemeyer said, 20-inch fender, which is what you need because it compresses. Anything less than that compresses flat, and then the overhanging rails hit. But 20 inches is all there is. So with 20 inches, I'm coming in. My crew members are putting spring lines. We're scraping against the pilings as we're coming in, and there's no margin of safety. I know Mr. Egan is also present. I've been at his marina. I can't imagine him. He has separation pilings there. I can't imagine him putting boats of similar size or dissimilar size the way these two boats are in such a narrow space. Okay, appreciate everybody listening, and I will get back in touch with Brian next week.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Okay, I notice we do not have Harbor Master report in here tonight.
Yeah, I think that was an error. We do have a new staff member working on the agenda, but I believe Jay was going to discuss that under matters not reasonably anticipated by the chair, if that's okay.
That is okay. Go ahead, Jay.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Just a quick Harbor Master report. Longtime administrative assistant Pam Schweiter officially retired. We miss her. We had to go on a away party. She's off to Hawaii. That puts us at a disadvantage in mooring renewal season. We're a little behind this year, but we're getting through it. I just want to let the permit holders know that have paid that there is going to be a delay with the stickers going out, but everyone's in good standing who has paid so far. We'll get those stickers to you as soon as we can. We're fast approaching the first deadline. February 28th is when all the annual permits need to be renewed by without a late fee. So February 28th is our first deadline, and March 31st is our second deadline, of course, with the late fee. The big news we want to remind everyone this year is that the waitlist deadline has also moved. So if you have forgotten to renew your waitlist position, normally that would have come and gone on February 15th. That is now February 28th as well. So if you haven't paid your waitlist, please do that. You can do it online. You can get a check in here. Obviously, the check has to be in by the 28th. We don't count post dates. Other than that, we're just trying to get through the winter, doing our boat maintenance. The safe boat is currently out of the water. We do all the oil changes and the buffing and the waxing and all the maintenance that we need to do over the winter before the boats go back in. And that's it. That's all I have for you guys.
Okay, Jay, thank you very much. Just a reminder for everybody, we have a mooring workshop again, 6 p.m. on Tuesday, the 18th. So that'll be the week ahead of our March meeting. So if anybody has anything else, if not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Thanks, Jacob. Okay. So we'll see everybody on the 18th at 6 p.m. Thanks all for your input tonight. Appreciate it.